So apparently a lot of people are having trouble beating these chess bots on chess.com at like the 1600 level and above. But this is where it kind of really starts. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to play a few 1600 chess bots right now. Let's see how tough these guys really are. Anyway, let's dive in. Let's play some chess. All right, I'm going to use Joel, a 1600 rated chess bot on chess.com, to demonstrate what 1600 players are doing wrong. I want to do a 1600 bot for a couple reasons. Number one, I didn't do a 1600 rating player on my series, climbing to 1600. Also, 1600 is a good solid rating where you're a solid intermediate chess player, maybe slightly above that, and you're on the verge of becoming an advanced or very strong chess player. So 1600 is a good rating level because you can learn a lot from a 1600 level game. They're not making beginner mistakes. They're not making really egregious mistakes, but at the same time, they're not advanced either, and there's some stuff they can work on. So for that reason, I feel like this would be a very instructive video and instructive rating to look over. Okay, the queen is arguably a little overexposed. Not much we can really do about it right now. I'm going to attack it, actually. Not really to win the queen, but I didn't want the knight to take my bishop. So I'm going to castle and just put an emphasis on development like I always do. And okay, the queen is definitely a little over aggressive here. The queen's overextended. I don't want you guys to think that the queen's in a good spot here. The queen is not aggressive here. The queen is overextended. You also see that there's the queen is in line with the bishop, which is a discovered attack, which is very powerful. But first, I have to take care of this bishop. If I move the knight out and attack the queen, Joel here could move the queen out of the way and take the bishop. So I don't want that to happen. In fact, I might just do this. Move the bishop out of the way, attack the rook. If he takes back, I hit the queen twice, and we have this move. But see, the problem here is development. The king is in the center. This diagonal is open, which is a really bad diagonal to leave open, especially in the middle of the beginning of the game. And now we have a check. Okay, now the king forfeited the right to castle. I could throw in another check here and take the rook. My queen is hanging, though, so I could take first, then take. But then he would take here. But I still think I would be in a good position here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the queen. I'm going to throw in a check, take the rook. I'm also now taking with check because he should have came to c8. And now I'm going to throw in a check, take this bishop. And this all came around. This all came to be because of not so much tactics. The tactics worked in my favor, sure, but because of the king position, not developing, not castling the king, and opening up this diagonal to the king, which are a couple of strategic positional mistakes, whatever you want to call it, that 1600s do play. Now, their mistakes are a little bit more nuanced. It might be harder for some people to exploit them, but they're mistakes nonetheless. Now I'm just going to start trying to trade down material. He should really be kind of avoiding that and making the game a little bit tougher for me, but this makes it easier for me to trade down material. He's actually letting me trade down material, and now I'm going to trade down more material here. Okay. I'm just going to go for this pawn. I guess he should play c6 here, but he doesn't. So I guess I'll just double up here, and c6 should be coming, I would think, and then I would move my rook to this file, and now I'm going to attack on that file. Looks like my bishop just got trapped, actually. Would you look at that? Did my bishop just get trapped? If I come up here, he takes... So as I was explaining something else, the 1600 bot kind of snuck in a little sneaky move there. However, I have that move attacking the knight twice. So if he takes, that's a mistake. Right, very good. Has to move something like there. But now I could take, and after this, I throw in a check and get 2 pawns for the piece at least. So that there's an option. If I push now, he takes. And all right, so I'm just going to get 2 pawns for the piece. Oh, actually, I can't even get 2 pawns because this knight's defending. Let's see. I'm going to take away flight squares for the king and see if I can, get some type of mating net here. If I push, I'm going to lose my rook. That's not good. So I can't really defend like that. In fact, I have to give him this pawn here. And there's really not a whole lot I can do about that. So I'm just going to take this pawn and basically trade this pawn for that pawn. And yeah, so he's going to get that rook. So he recovered, but what happens here is now I have a passed pawn. I got 2 passed pawns. And this is just going to be too much of a problem, for my opponent to deal with. And he tried to recover. He played definitely much better towards the end. I slipped up. But at the end of the day, because he played poorly, in the beginning, the first half of the game, he put himself in a situation that was just too hard to recover from. Even if he started to play better, he's still left with so many weaknesses that it's just tough to recover. And this passed pawn should be decisive. I just have to get my rook behind it, so he shouldn't be taking here. This king will intercept this pawn, so I'm not really too concerned about that. That's why the outside passed pawns are stronger, because they're further away from the pieces. I'm just going to put my rook behind this pawn, scoop up that pawn, and then I have a second passed pawn, possibly a third. Oh, well, I'm assuming, oh no, he can't even take that one. So now I got 3 passed pawns, and yeah, that's not good. This is not good at all for my opponent, but it's good for me, so that's always good. All right, so these bots don't resign. That's one thing they don't do. That I wish they did sometimes. I wish they did resign, but they don't like to do it. So I'm just going to get a queen here. After it takes, I'll get another queen with check. I'm assuming he's going to take. I take. And now I can finish this game off pretty quickly. I'll throw in a check here. And now I just want to bounce. Okay, so he's at the last rank. When your opponent's king goes to the last rank, this is instructive. Just keep your opponent's king there. Don't ever move the rook. The only time I should be moving the rook here is when I'm delivering checkmate. So I'm just going to follow the king. If it ever comes to meet me, I'll checkmate it on the spot. So if he comes back to follow me, I checkmate him. So I bounce him back to the corner where he has to bounce back into that same pattern that I was talking about. And I take away the first 3 squares, and that is checkmate. So let's do another bot here. Let's do another 1600 level bot. We'll do Isabel. Isabel is 1600. Maybe Isabel can give us a better game. Let's see. All right. So far, so good. So far, so good. Okay. Yeah, the first 1600 bot played a little shaky. Played really inconsistent, bad in the beginning, and then started playing better, started setting up some traps. I guess they try to program these bots to play like certain people. Like some people are more aggressive, some people are better in the opening, some people are better strategically, here and there, I guess, but I don't know. So this opponent's playing a little bit better, although she might get herself into trouble here, especially after that move. That has to be a bad move. I mean, isn't this check winning the queen already? Maybe I just gave 1600s too much credit. But, they're not bad players, really. They're not. But, I don't know. They're really not. They're decent players. But, you get yourself into a tough position in the opening. You don't play the opening well. You don't focus on development, king safety. All these things can happen. So always the basics. Always develop. Get your king to safety, castle, all those things, or else you're going to put yourself in a very tough spot. So the first 1600 is actually playing better than this 1600. But, and then again, just letting me trade down material. It's not a good idea. Not when I'm up so much material, at least. And it looks like I can finish this game pretty quickly. I'm going to attack the knight. And after the knight moves, I'm just actually going to chop that knight off. I don't really care. I'm up a lot of material, and I can get pawns for it. And the bishop and queen can definitely deliver checkmate. So let's just take here. Throwing a check. I'm going to just use this pawn to probably just get another queen. I'll win the game like that. I'm assuming she's going to blockade this, but I assumed wrong, and not sure what she's doing. Because even if that check, I just take, because I'm guarding that queening, not the queening square, but the checking square. And this game looks like it's a matter of technique at this point, as they say. Which if you ever hear someone say that, that means the game is basically over. It's just a matter of finishing it out. So, all right, we have a check here, and the king's got to go back there, and that's checkmate. Let's see if we can get another 1600. All right, let's try one more 1600, Pablo. I'm really rooting for these guys. I really want them to play well. I really want them to have a good performance and, represent the 1600s, in a good light. Because, I give them more credit than this. They're better players than this. I haven't seen this in a long time. I forget what this is even called. I'm not even sure what to do here, to be honest. If I push, there's a takes. I'll attack the queen, I guess, first. I'm also threatening this, winning the rook. So that forces my opponent to move back, and then I can push the pawn. So basic chess here. All right, I'll take here. So far, this opponent's playing way better. Although I shouldn't speak too soon because they could drop their queen at any moment here. I'm going to castle. I'm expecting this. That would actually be strong in that position because I can never push because of en passant, it looks like. So that actually might have been a strong move. I want to sacrifice the knight, but at the same time, I don't. I'm going to stop the bishop from coming here. And meant to go there. Not a huge mistake, but it allowed me to drop a pawn, so not great either. So, all right, mouse slipped there. It happens. What can you do? All right, so attacking F2. How do I defend that? Can I really defend that? I don't think so. I might have to do something a little crazy like that and give up the knight. And then after it takes I'll take here. And okay. So they didn't take back because I would open up the game. The king's in the center. Again, these tactics are working for me because the king is still in the center. So if you take anything away from these games, this is how important positional chess is and just the basics of positional chess. Get your king to safety. Don't leave it in the center. My opponent can't even take back the piece here, which will allow me to get back a piece, and that's because I would just take and just crush the king open in the center, and it's just not looking pretty after that. So I'm going to take this here. Again, I could just start taking stuff because I completely control the center of the board. I might have been able to get away with that move, probably not. But again, I have material back with interest because my pieces are good, my development's good, and my opponent's king is still in the center. Probably should have taken my bishop. 2 bishops on an open board here, very dangerous. I'm bringing my rook into the center of the board, attacking the queen, forcing the queen away. And And now I guess I could just come here, attack this pawn. The rook's not doing much there. If he takes, I just take back. So that doesn't really do anything. My rook is still on an open file, actually threatening to win the queen at the cost of a bishop and a rook, but still getting a queen. All right, so my opponent wants to take the bishop. Question is, can I do this check and then really take advantage of the misplaced king? So if I take here, it brings the king all the way to the center, and the king can't castle now. Well, not that it can anyway because my bishop, but if I take, king has to take, I throw in a check. After the king moves away, I can take here, attacking the rook and bishop. So again, you know, but my bishop is under fire during that whole thing. So maybe I want to, you know, secure my bishop's safety before I do anything. Because if I take here, check, take, attacking the rook and bishop, he could take my bishop with check. So I'm just going to get out of the way first. All right, so now coming in, that's a decent move. Bringing your rook into the game that wasn't doing anything to attack my queen, definitely a decent idea. I could just come here. Again, I'm just going to play basic moves. I'm not going to play, you know, insane, try to find like a brilliant move or anything. I'm just going to play basic stuff here. So I'm moving the queen away, attacking the knight. He defended. How do I put more pressure on? Let's see. Here I could... Let's see. I'll just push the pawn. I'll push the pawn, maybe try to set up something. Not really sure what yet. If I come in here, the queen's going to jump in there with check. So again, just the basics, not moving pawns in front of your king. That will help you out a lot in chess. The queen looks like it's trying to advance, but I don't know where it's going to go. Now I could attack the queen, I guess, and just push it back. Get my queen involved into the game now. Start attacking pawns, attacking this pawn. What's the threat here? You always have to ask yourself, what's the threat? It's if I move my queen away, he takes my queen with check. So that is technically the threat here. I'm going to take this pawn, attack the rook. I'm going to take this pawn, attack that rook again. And, if I take, so I can't come here. All right, what do I do here? I'm just going to play it safe. I'm just going to bring my bishop back. So I was able to get 2 pawns and just come right back. I'm going to trade down material here. Again, the king is open. This 1600 is definitely playing a lot better than the other two. But, you know, the king is open here. And there's not really much my opponent can do. Especially even if we trade down pieces now, you know, there's not that many pawns left. I have a lot of pawns. I would have a lot of passed pawns, and I would easily, you know, win the game. I don't like that move at all because now I just set up discoveries on the queen and king. So that's not really good at all. Could I sacrifice the queen, and then come here, and then takes, then it's bishop versus rook. Not really great. This looks much better, much more to the point. Not even sure if there's actually any threats here. Because that check doesn't really do anything. That check doesn't really do anything. If I take, I'm covering everything. So I'm just going to take with the bishop here. And that check doesn't do anything because he can't check me on this diagonal because of my bishop. And I'm just going to throw in that check. And now, I guess you can say this is a matter of technique at this point. I don't want to speak too soon, but I think it is. So I can just throw in this check, trade down material, make the game as easy as possible for myself. And, you know, that's that. So offering a trade of rooks. I'm just going to simply defend my pawns. Anything he attacks, I'm going to be able to defend because I have more pieces. I'm up a whole bishop, and I have pawns. So I can also keep the king at bay. Oops, I can't keep the king at bay. If I put the king here, it takes, takes. But I can actually get away with that because I have so many pawns that I can get away with doing that. So in other words, even after he would get a piece, I would be left with a winning endgame, so it doesn't really matter. So there's that. Actually, I'm going to throw in this check. I'm going to give away my piece just because I get pawns. I just have a winning pawn, king and pawn endgame, so there's really no reason not to do that. And this is how, personally, I would like to finish the game. Just make it easy. You know, a winning king and pawn. I know this is winning. I know there's nothing my opponent can do, but that is that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I was only going to do one 1600 level game, or one chess bot at the 1600 rating level. But since they goofed and made some, pretty heinous mistakes, I decided to do one more and then another one again after that. So hopefully you guys found this instructive, especially the last game, because my opponent did play a lot better. And I think all in all, after all these 3 games, we can see the common theme is, and some were more drastic than others in some games, but the common theme is king safety, develop your pieces, don't ignore the basics in chess. You want to build your chess game on a good, strong foundation, and that's the basics, the basics, the basics. And you can just, from there, work on your tactics, get really sharp, work on your positional game, and your rating will go up from there. If you like this video, make sure you check out this one. Get out of here, go play some chess.